Welcome, I'm Dr. Janine Bowring, naturopathic doctor, and I want you to do these 9 tips to treat acid reflux. So the causes of having acid reflux can be either too much acid, but also too little acid. And a lot of people don't know that that connection can be made if you are low in your HCl in your stomach. Certain medications can also cause the acid reflux. We know that stress is definitely implicated in developing acid reflux or GERD, and also alcohol consumption can be one of the causative factors. Now, that is not the exhaustive list as to all the causes of acid reflux, but these are the common ones. So tip number 1 is try not to eat at least 3 hours before bedtime or before you lie down. So that simple act of gravity and laying down flat after eating, especially a heavy meal, definitely will have implications in the amount of acid that is coming up. You want to try to stay upright after eating, and that is why this is so important, and it's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is to include more organic foods in your diet, if not completely organic. The reason being is that if you're not eating, organic and you're eating GMO foods, then this can be a culprit in terms of the glyphosate, and glyphosate is a herbicide that's commonly used in many parts of the world, which can compromise the health of your digestive tract, your microbiome, and also can be a causative factor for the acid reflux. So you definitely want to limit your exposure to this herbicide, and it is found in so many different types of foods. So do your best to eat organic whenever you can. Tip number 3 is to include more magnesium in your diet. So magnesium in particular, and I'm going to show you in just a second why I prefer magnesium bisglycinate. Now, not only does the glycine, so 2 glycines in the formulation, help with the glyphosate exposure in terms of eating non-organic foods and GMO foods, but more importantly, because of the rapid absorption of the magnesium bisglycinate, what this is doing, it's also helping to relax those smooth muscles, especially lower down in the esophagus, and trying to keep that acid down in the stomach where it needs to stay. So that lower esophageal sphincter is very much influenced by those contractions, and magnesium will help to rectify what's happening there to keep that stomach acid down. Now I'll show you the magnesium bisglycinate that I love and that I take daily for many different health reasons, and for the beauty benefits of course as well, and I will open this up. So again, it's bound to glycine, so that's very important in terms of absorption, but it will not have an overly stimulating effect on the digestive tract. I know a lot of people take different types of magnesium to stimulate the bowels. Not always the best way to get things going, and this is very different because you can see that this completely disappears. It is tasteless and completely disappears in the water. So this is something that if you do suffer with acid reflux, you can open up your capsules into some water, drink this in the morning. So I prefer magnesium in the morning, and doing that regularly can actually help on contact. It is very alkaline, so it will help on contact to deal with that acid from the acid reflux, but over the long term is helping to relax that esophageal sphincter because it is a smooth muscle relaxant. Tip number 4 is to make sure that you are fixing your microbiome. So including more fermented foods, probiotic containing foods are very important. So things like kimchi, sauerkraut, kombucha, maybe some dairy if you're okay with dairy products, or maybe a non-dairy alternative that has some of those active live cultures of those probiotics. Some people will need to go to a supplement as well for their probiotics, and to ensure that you're getting enough of those live strains. So we're getting there to tip number 9. Make sure you're staying tuned right until we get to tip number 9. And I'm going to share something with you about acid reflux that you probably haven't heard. So we're going to get there shortly. Okay, tip number 5 is to really be aware that if you are on medications for acid reflux, that this, and typically they're called proton pump inhibitors, they can cause a vitamin B12 deficiency, but also if you're trying to get off of the PPI guys that they can cause a massive backlash of acid. So as you're coming off of them, and they're usually not recommended to be on for long term, so more than a year or so. And some people I know, unbeknownst to them, are on them for years and years. So this is definitely something to ask your doctor about. But it can cause a huge backlash when you're coming off of that proton pump inhibitor, and you'll have a lot of acid, because what the drug was doing was shutting down your acid production in those pumps in the stomach to create the acid. They've been shut down. Now when you stop the drug, all that acid's going to come back with a vengeance. So one of sort of the first aid things that you can do is use a little bit of baking soda, and you can add, if you really need that extra help, in your magnesium mixture with your water, you can add a little bit of baking soda and drink and be sipping on that to help to counteract that acid. This isn't a long-term solution. It's just something to get you through that transition period after you come off of that drug. And of course, you're always working with your practitioner when you are, changing any type of routine that has been suggested for you. Okay, tip number 6 is to reduce your EMF exposure. So this is not the natural, so the non-native EMFs, which we get from our environment, whether it's from cell phones, from our Wi-Fi routers, anything that's plugged into a wall can potentially be giving us this radiation. It's something that we definitely have to be aware of, especially as it's related to inflammation in our body and what's going on with our digestion and having proper digestion. Also, blue light toxicity is a culprit here, which can have negative implications for our circadian rhythms and how our digestive organs are functioning, because all of our organs have clocks and clock genes, which is related to the timing of the light cycles in our surroundings. So when this gets messed up, especially with blue light, especially at nighttime from artificial lights after the sun has gone down, this can really have a negative impact on our health and on our acid reflux as well. Tip number 7 is to follow Mother Nature's prescription. So if you've watched my other videos, you've probably heard me talk a lot about grounding and earthing, getting your bare feet on the earth, which is so important for your overall health. Also making sure that you're out in fresh air, looking at the sun and the sunrise. That early morning sun is very reparative to our digestive tract and helps to set up our body for the rest of the day and for that good night's sleep as well. One thing specifically for your digestive tract that's important, which you may not have heard before, is to expose your abdomen. So lift up your shirt or whatever you're wearing, expose your belly to that morning sun, and this goes a long way with those infrared rays from the sun to really heal your gut and to activate what's going on with your enzyme systems and your B vitamins. So really important aspect of your digestive health that you may not have known about. Okay, tip number 8 is to normalize your circadian rhythm. So I already alluded to this. You definitely want to fix your leptin resistance. So if you don't know what that is, head on over to my other videos all about leptin resistance and the tips as to how to fix this, because your circadian signaling, when you have your bowel movement, when you're eating, when you wake up, when you go to sleep, is on a very tight schedule as it's related to the light in your environment. And depending on where you live, how close you are to the equator, our body follows suit as to what is around us. And when we have this artificial environment around us in terms of EMFs and blue light, this really messes things up for our digestive tract. So definitely follow those tips in those other videos. And tip number 9, what you've been waiting for, is to fix that mind-body connection as it's related to the acid reflux. So I want you to think about what is causing you stress. What is it in your life that you cannot swallow? And I don't mean in terms of food and drink, I mean emotionally. What are you not able to deal with? What are you not able to swallow and to integrate into what's going on with your own life? And when you make these connections, it's incredible how things can really turn around for your health. Often a missing link in terms of, making that mind-body connection as it's related to acid reflux. And I've helped so many people over the years with acid reflux, because just making that, cognitive decision now to kind of let things go that you haven't been able to swallow, or make some changes in your life, especially in terms of your emotional health, to ensure that everything that you're taking in your life, whether that's the food or that's the emotions, everything that's implicated there is something that is in agreement with your body and the way that your body should be working as it's connected to nature. So today we talked all about acid reflux and the things you can do to help acid reflux. I hope that you learned something new. If you do have questions or comments, or you can relate to what I'm talking about with the mind-body connection, please do put that in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you. Be sure to share this video as well and give me a big thumbs up. I truly appreciate all of your great feedback that you share with me. If you are new here, please subscribe, click that bell to turn on the notifications so you're always aware of my newest and latest uploads, which happens every single day of the week. And remember to always take good care of your health and do it naturally. Thanks for watching.